I heard you mention something about November 3rd. Do you see an after hours run similar to this week at some point? No. We might run after hours tonight, but it's not, I don't think it's similar to November 3rd, or I think January 6th may have been similar to November 3rd. Or, well, I have a theory, but I need to dig more into it still. Entropy seems like it would be an incredibly leading indicator for leaps. Yes. Oh shit. Dude. You can't just... Okay. Well, this is bullish. Okay, now I'm excited again. So, let's look at GME Entropy on the 4-hour, back since these are the peaks of August and June, November. So you see our entropy slid way up from like November, literally from November 23rd on. We expect this to snap back to its mean, right? And move back to that average. And this is higher than it's been all year. And then if we look at the nearer term chart, we are in fact turning around as of, what is that? Is that Feb? What day is that? Is that Feb 8th? So Feb 8th marked the turnaround. Anyway, this kind of gives an idea of the amount of pressure used to drop the price. Significantly greater than the pressure we've experienced for the rest of the year. This move back could be violent. It's good stuff. I'm very stoked. That's awesome. I can't believe we have that much of a turnaround. Slow, but up right now. Is it still CNS time? Yeah. For like another hour and 20 minutes. I think MTB Dork would be a better way in on how he's deriving the value and his methodology. Do you recommend to roll at the money, in the money March 18 to out of the money April 14s today or tomorrow? At the money, in the money March 18s. I didn't roll any of my in the money March 18s, and probably won't until like the end of this week. Maybe Friday I would consider rolling in the money, or just closing them for profit. At the money, I mean, I rolled mine yesterday. What are the 3 dates you mentioned before? 3/3, 3/8, 3/10. It's 3/9, 3/10. And 3/3. Today was one of them. 3/2. These are FTDs from Leaps. These are ETF FTDs from Leaps. So these are Leap FTDs from MMs, from ETFs. Is that what you're asking? The dates that I predicted in my previous DDs were for this cycle were the Feb 18 T+2 window, which was 21 through 24, or 22 through 24. So we're due for a massive spike soon. Well, entropy is due to go back towards 0, which would mean a price increase, yeah, or below. Anything new, Wind Moon? Or we're just looking at entropy, like the entropy volatility variance model that Dork built. Rate of change has been declining. I mean, we've begun turning around. Or do more screenshots, but my PC is in corporate land that hates me. No worries, man. Maybe we could do like a little update later for everyone and share that. I'll talk to you after this is over. Does a return to 0 on entropy swaps imply a revision to mean on VWAP? Sort of, yeah, you can think of it like that. Like how much energy required to move us from VWAP to where we are now. Like if we go out here to like trading view here, let's try to do it this way because this could be an easier way for people to understand. So if we look at our like this anchored VWAP range, right? It's the, think of it as like the amount of energy taken to push us down below this. Right? And then that move back to negative is the upside. And we've already begun to turn around. So we're already in this stage of it. And then obviously that turnaround can drive momentum, right? Which can move us up above, at least briefly, before coming back down towards. So like it can move, if you think of this as like the 0 point. The modeling of it is not really my area of expertise. That's more like engineering side. I've used the entropy on other tickers to verify its integrity. I mean, yeah, he's checked out a bunch and, you know, used it against the SPY as like a baseline. Also, an interesting correlation with XRT and entropy is that we see that they started using XRT to begin shorting on like October 29th. Way before it went on Reg Show in December. And then we see an immediate shift in XRT's entropy after December 17th. So from October 29th through like December 17th, we see this big change in XRT's entropy. And then as soon as it's thresholded, it reverts, which was interesting. And then we see this similar correlation on GameStop. It's hard for me because I don't have the like the thing. Maybe Dork will give it to me. I'll ask him, and then maybe I can like actively use it in TradingView and try to show you guys. But I know it has to be adjusted for different time scales and stuff, I think. Would you say entropy hedge has been entropy 1K entropy hedging has been identified? Can't be entering a new phase B when entropy is spiking. Yeah, I mean, it does help confirm Wyckoff C. I agree. CD movement. I see I would have held JNW here until I was on the streets. It's kind of that we'll know what'll happen, but the time, I don't know if it really tells us how quickly. I think it accelerates as it moves back to 0. If you try to think of it more like physics, is that, you know, it accelerates into the peak, and then it decelerates into the peak, and then slows down, and then starts to shift, and then accelerates out. So and we're like right here, right? So as it moves out, it begins to accelerate back towards that baseline. Don't know how quickly equals exactly the reason leaps have an incredible synergy with entropy charting. Sure. It's the way in which an entropy swap is hedged, somebody. It's the specific like volatility and gamma positions that need to be taken that would infer a entropy swap is in place. Is it possible to estimate price at that baseline? No. I mean, you could actually assume that weighted VWAP, so like 180. But that data you showed us did not indicate an acceleration down. If you look at the chart for earlier entropy flows, did it? It does, more so in March and June, and less so but that's because the reversion in August and November was slight, right? Like entropy there wasn't a lot of buildup, right? It kind of just went it kind of just like went up and then back. But this one was far more significant. It just kept climbing. And remember, it's exponential, right? So it's, I think a better way of thinking of it is like putting energy into a system, and like if being long is putting entropy in, or like energy in, then short is pulling energy out. Why did you choose the weighted view up from Feb and not Jan? Oh, because that big flash crash was like the last time that people sold. If you go from Jan, it's weird. But mostly after the flash crash in March, it's just buy and hold. Before that, there's a lot of like selling and noise going on. Can you explain pipe investors and how it could relate to GME? I don't know if it really does relate to GME. That's a big issue on SoFi, because all the initial investors are just like waiting to realize profits, and so they just keep the price of the stock low while they sell covered calls. Justin Timberlake is enlisted in the Ukrainian army. He's been stationed near the Crimea River. Very, very well done, Velvet. Excellent. Congratulations for being in the top 5 posts of our super stock right now. Real proud of you. Thanks, Ryan Cohen. Basically, the harder the push to move us down, will eventually have the same movement upwards before going back to the mean. Yeah, well, it can be greater than, right? Because of that like acceleration to mean, right? So like, because the stock wants to be, think of it like the stock wants to be here at the 0 line, right? But because they're pushing so hard, the acceleration back can, cause it to pass through. If that makes sense. We see a big like liquidity drop in VW as well. If you look at VW's entropy moving into its squeeze, it does a very similar thing before kind of turning around and rising into the squeeze, like hitting like these like all-time lows. Technically, I think I grew a wrinkle. I just realized that extremely high entropy equals Wyckoff phase C spring confirmation. Can't be entering a new phase B when entropy is spiking. Okay, you just go wrestle with that thought, Stefan. So obviously unknown is how much energy they're willing to put into suppression for their purposes, but I think I heard you saying entropy hedge has been identified. Yeah. Please clip. It's like, so okay, I'll clip the whole section, but it's like I don't know. It's a lot.